and you're going to need one block and pillow. You will need a pillow, okay? Everybody probably mute themselves. I think everybody's probably muted. Yep. And we'll get started. So like I said, I might sit on a chair for the beginning. Sit on a chair, sit on the floor, or you can even stand up. We're not having a whole lot of standing tonight, so you may choose to just stand up. Okay, so I think I may sit on a chair. And I'm going to put this pillow underneath me because my feet don't touch the floor otherwise. Keep everything close by. What do I need? Okay, so a strap, guys, a block or a book if you have one, a chair if you want to go grab a chair. I'm going to sit in a chair for the beginning part at least. You can stand up as well. To sit in a chair, I'm going to move my bum back and then I'm just kind of folding over, pushing my bum back, and then I'm going to come up to sit nice and straight in the chair, look down at my feet and make sure they're both pelvis width distance apart. So we're going to begin with the neck tonight. So like I said, we're really going to be focused on the trapezius muscles and relaxing those muscles. So everything we're going to do tonight, I want you all to take it down about 60%, 70% at the most, okay? Just meaning that if we did a twist and you could twist all the way around, we just want to do really small movements tonight because we want to really focus on relaxing some of our muscles when we move, okay? Especially the trapezius muscles. So these traps here, and why don't we just begin by bringing our hands up there and giving them a massage. So there are these big muscles that are kind of, you can find your clavicle and it's behind them. Feel these big neck muscles going up. And a lot of times, not only do we bring the shoulders up, I've noticed when I was gardening that I not only had my shoulders up, but I was clenching my jaw. So you may even want to get up there in the jaw as well. A little rub. And so just reminding, maybe even just giving a soft rub now into your traps and just reminding them to relax and let go a little bit. Let's begin by just closing our eyes. You can continue just feeling those muscles around there. And whether you're standing or sitting, finding those sit bones if you're sitting, or if you're standing, you find those three corners of the feet. I'm trying to find that neutral pelvis, standing or sitting. And a nice long back in the back. Perhaps tucking the chin a little bit to elongate the neck in the back. So I just want to roll my shoulders up and down. So the shoulders feel like they're nice and flat against the back. And I'm going to take my palms to help keep my chest open like this. I'm going to bring the palms to my lap and with the palms facing up towards the ceiling. And I'm going to begin with the neck. So I'm just going to drop the head now. And let's get also in touch with our breath here. So I've just dropped the chin towards the chest. Back is still nice and long. And I just want to breathe. And then relax the eyes. And go ahead with that. So we're just starting. I'm sitting in a chair for those who just came in. You can be sitting down, you can be standing, sitting on the floor. So we've just begun by dropping the chin. So coming into some nice easy breaths, dropping the chin towards the chest. And tonight we're talking about relaxing the traps, okay? So you have your neck down now, and think about your traps, think about those muscles at the neck here. And now even try to relax those even more. So you may notice like a let go around the shoulders. You may just be realizing that, yeah, I am clenching those muscles. So just letting the neck hang. I'm having my palms face up to the ceiling to just open up my chest. And now I'm going to bring the head up, but nice and slow, and you want to keep that long neck. So you kind of keep the chin tucked as you raise the head up. And as you're raising the head up, you're just being conscious of the neck being nice and long in the back. And now we're just going to do a tick-tock of the head. So again, what I was saying earlier for those just coming in, we want to work tonight about 60 or 70% of our range. So what I mean by that is I'm just tick-tocking my head back and forth, but I could be really getting into the stretch and like really pulling it down. But tonight I don't want us to do that because we're trying to relax and teach the traps, or because become conscious of how our traps are tight often, and especially, like I said earlier as well, when we're gardening, we tend to hold our shoulders up to around to our ears. So tonight we're just tick-tocking, but very slow. Stay with the breath. Inhale, come up. Exhale, come down neck to the other side. And come up to center. Take a breath. Try to relax the jaw, because oftentimes tight traps, tight jaw, tighten the shoulders. So letting, even if you're sitting in a chair, letting the arms just come down by your sides. And one more time, we're going to bring the chin down towards the chest. So back is still long. We're not arching over. We're just dropping the chin to the chest. Don't expect your chin to touch your chest. I'm just saying drop the chin. Staying with the breath. Letting the belly loose. And now just see if you can relax the neck a little bit more and relaxing around the traps. And we'll take one more breath and exhale, come up. Take a breath, exhale, and bringing my hands back to my lap. And now we're going to gently look over the left shoulder. So not all the way, jut the jaw. So do a part the teeth. You're going to jut the jaw and then look up, meaning just lifting your chin towards the ceiling. So move with your breath. Inhale, jut the jaw, and look up. And come down. And remember, 60% of the efforts, because we're not trying to clench the neck, okay? So we'll just go to the other side. Very gentle. Come down, and then come forward. And now we're just going to move the shoulder blades. So we're going to tick-tock the shoulders, one up and one down. So as you do this, you're really thinking about the movement coming in the shoulder blade, coming from the shoulder blades. And like I said, we're not 60, 70% here, okay? Just to get some nice gentle movement. So hopefully if you have tight traps and tight around the neck and jaw, tonight's class, after tonight's class, you might feel a little better. That's kind of why I created this, because I've been gardening, and so I'm just lifting the shoulders, but as I lift, I want you to relax the traps. Don't, because otherwise you probably would get them engaged if you were to lift the shoulder up towards the ear. But we're just getting the shoulder blade, one to come up and one. And now we're just going to do a gentle roll of the shoulders. So it's just shoulder blades coming up without the traps getting engaged. Let them relax. And I'm just gently, 60%, squeezing shoulder blades in the back and moving the shoulder blades down. Just one more. So just small movements, and then I'm doing the other way. So I'm bringing the shoulder blades together, softly bringing them up, and then bringing them down, and again, bringing them gently together, up and down. So if you're sitting, you may want to just change position, or if you could stand up or stay seated on a chair, whatever you want. We're just going to go into some internal and external rotations of the arms. So again, really focusing the movement in the shoulder, the arm bone, the humerus moving in the shoulder socket. Oh, sorry about that. And very gentle movements. And again, remembering that you want to invite the traps to relax. So now I'm moving my arms forward, not getting the traps engaged. And I'm just opening them a little wide. You can really just move in any plane here that you want. So just some internal, external rotation. And now bring the arms, continue your internal, external rotation. Invite the traps to relax if they've engaged without you noticing. And so when you get your arms out to the side, and I'm going to stand up because I'm a bit too close. So when you get your arms out to the side, keep that external rotation in your arms. And I want you to just start to lift the arms. But remember, this is somewhere where the traps want to probably get engaged. But you want to lift and really think about the latissimus muscles, the big muscles here that are also part of the shoulder girdle, doing some work, because oftentimes our traps get too engaged and do too much of the work for us. So it's an external rotation and we're just lifting, but put your brain into all the other parts of the shoulder, underneath, like behind the shoulder blade, but keeping the traps relaxed. So we went out further, maybe even coming out a little wider. So external rotation and just moving the shoulders up, just the shoulder blades, okay? Shoulder blades are up, and shoulder blades come down. And now even with the arms a little closer together, external rotation, take a break if you need to. And we're just, again, moving the arms up, feeling the muscles like engaging underneath your armpits, but letting the muscles in the neck, the traps relax. And coming down. And now just about shoulder width distance apart, still shoulder, external rotation in the shoulders. And we're just gonna come up. So I'm just taking my arms with a bit of a bend and coming up. And this is about as far as I can go without other things happening, like my traps getting engaged, and come down. And shake that out. And now we're just going to spread the arms nice and wide. Again, relax the traps. So we're just really pushing the arms gently back. So other times we may push them really hard back, but just gentle, about 70%. And again, we're going to just come down. The arms are still in a bit of an external rotation. And we're bringing the arms up. Get the traps to relax. And come down. And again, it's almost like you're hugging this big giant like cedar tree. So I'm just bringing my arms down, external rotation, and remind the traps to relax if you can, and just feel the movement coming from your shoulder blades, probably feeling really tight underneath the shoulders, like a hollowness and underneath our armpits, right? And come down. Yay. Okay, shake that out. We're gonna take our strap now. So grab your strap or anything long, even a scarf will do. Hold it out nice and long. You may wanna stand up now if you're sitting on the floor for sure. But if you're sitting in a chair, you can stay where you are. So we're just lifting the strap up, but again, you want to really think about the straps, and you can just try it and see if you know what I'm talking about by your traps getting engaged. If you want, like you can hold it up, like bring it up like you normally do, and just notice tightness. and then do it again and try to do it with relaxing those muscles, okay? So I'm bringing it up. So again, I'm not forcing, nice easy breath. I'm bringing the strap maybe a little tiny bit behind, but not much. Take a breath, remind the traps to soften and come down. Take a breath if you need to. Come up. Whoop. I kind of felt the traps kind of engage there, reminding them to soften and come down. And this time we're just going to come across, so it's like around the world. I'm bringing the strap across my body and up, around, and again. This is just 60% effort, and I don't want my traps to get engaged, okay? So again, bringing the strap diagonal in front of you and up and down, diagonal in front of you and up and down, diagonal in front of you and up and down. And just again, really put your attention into these other muscles around the shoulder. And we'll go on the other side. So the left side, I'm going to diagonal up and down, diagonal up, over and down, up, over and down. And then just relax the shoulders down by your side. Take a breath in, take a breath out. So we're just going to do a couple standing things before we come back down to just get a little bit of lubrication in the hips. So come to standing position at the top of your mats, and your feet are about hip-width distance apart. Again, let's get in this habit of pushing, feeling the weight of our pelvis going behind more into the heels, ground down into the three corners of your feet. I'm going to tuck my chin a little bit and expand from the back body. I'm going to roll my shoulders back, down, and just let them come softly against my back. And if your knees tend to kind of come in towards each other, you can always think about externally rotating your feet without moving them. So externally rotating, pressing into the mat, and like you're going to take your feet and pull them apart. And you'll probably feel all your adductors become engaged and even muscles in your lower back. Let's take some breaths here. Now we're going to go and step back into a lunge. So I'm going to put all my weight into my left foot, little bend in the knee. I'm going to bring my hands onto my hip bones because I want you guys to just feel what happens in your own pelvis when you go back into a lunge, okay? So hips, hands on the hip bones, weight into my left leg, keep the pelvis in or keep the hip in. I'm going to raise my leg, and then I'm going to step it back, but not too wide. And as I'm stepping back, I'm just noticing what happens to my hip bones. So say, for instance, if you're really tight in the front of your leg that's back, what can happen is that it might force your pelvis to tip down and then get an arch in your lower back, okay? So when you step your foot back, and if you're okay with this and you step your foot back and it's okay if your pelvis on the right goes down a little tiny bit, but what I like to do is I try to keep my pelvis on the same level, okay? So what happens sometimes is my pelvis will drop and this one is down. So I'm gonna lift this side so they're right. So now if I was really tight here and I was pulling and I was arching, I want to make the stance on the back leg shorter, okay? So the stance shorter. So now we're in this upright high lunge. So just noticing what happened to your pelvis there, okay? And then now what we're gonna do is we're gonna just tip the heel down towards the floor. But more than the heel coming down towards the floor, it's more of this push of the thigh up towards the ceiling. Okay, so it's more of that. The heel tends to go down towards the floor, but the feeling is more of the thigh going back, and you're just getting some nice mobility, and that's the purpose of that here. So just want to get some lubrication here in the hips, because also gardening, we're squatting a lot, right? So we want to get this stretched out because we're in a flex position a lot of times. So I should call this the gardening class. Okay, I'm going to bring this back leg now up to meet the right. So I'm just going to push off, keep this hip in, and then let's just balance on this ankle for a bit. Keep the hip in. You can even press the foot out if you want, and come down. And shake that out if you need to. And come to the top of the mat again. Come in your nice standing posture. Put the weight now into the right foot. Bring the left foot up now, and just see what happens when you bring up the left foot. It's nice to have a mirror. When you bring it up, you don't want the hip hiking. You want to keep the two bones here. Lift up, and the reason why is because we're working with mobility in the hip, right? We want the pelvis steady, step back. And when you step back, that hip may have gone down. So just lift it up, plug in that front leg like I always say. And just notice what happens to your pelvis, okay? If your pelvis is really tucked back, bring the stance in, bring the legs closer in. That means that you'll have probably more of a bend in the back leg, which is great for this actually. So right now my front knee is over my ankle, and I'm pressing that back thigh up. It's a very small movement, so I'm thinking about pushing this thigh up towards the ceiling. Now my heel goes down, but if I were just thinking about the heel going down, it would look something like this. And when I do that, my pelvis is moving, okay? I don't want the pelvis to move. We want the leg coming up without the pelvis moving, and then you can imagine that the femur bone then is getting nice movement in the hip here. So tonight's class is very gentle. You should feel really good after. So just a couple more. Now I'm going to come off this leg, get the other leg nice and ready and strong. Come off, hold this hip in, come up, balancing on that other foot. I'm even going to give an ankle roll here, why not? And come down and maybe shake it out a little. I'm just going to move my hips from side to side. And let's just get in a little bit of a hamstring stretch here as well, just a standing up one. So if you're by the wall, or if you have a chair, maybe I'll use the chair. I'm going to just come in this kind of like tabletop position, okay? So I'm always just hinging at the hips, keeping the back nice and straight. And as I'm hinged over here, I'm going to put a nice bend in my knees, and I'm going to push the bum back, okay? We don't want to flare out the ribs. We don't want an unnecessary arch in the back. We're just basically hinging over. Bum is going back though. And what I'm going to do, I have a nice bend in the knees, and I don't want my pelvis to come up, but I'm going to try to straighten out my legs. And when I do that, I'm getting a really nice hamstring stretch here, and actually a quad stretch, an active quad stretch as well. So I'm just holding, I'm pushing the knees back without the knees coming back. So there's a lot of nice stretch. You don't want to overstretch. Be careful with feeling too much of a stretch right behind the bum, where the bum kind of meets the hamstrings there. We don't want there to be too much stretching there. And I like to spread my toes wide, and I do like to give this like external rotation in my legs while I'm doing this. And relax the traps, remember, because we're trying to really just go in about a 60%, and we will be coming back to the traps after this. And relax that and come up. And maybe you might want to shake that out a little bit. A little hip shimmy from side to side. And now we're coming back down onto the floor. And this time, sit on the floor against a wall. So if you need to sit on something, go ahead and get that situated. I'm gonna sit on my bolster, but, and you could do it on a chair, just don't have the back of the chair to the wall, because you're gonna wanna have your back to the wall. So we're going to come and sit down with our backs against the wall, and you're going to get your strap as well. So when you go to sit against a wall, you don't have to have your bum scooched right to the wall, but you will want to have your back ribs to the wall, okay? So your back body. So I'm going to bring my bolster out a little bit. So, and with your legs, however you want to sit, I'll probably remind you if you're sitting with your legs crossed to switch partway through. If I don't remember, and you do, go ahead and do that. So I'm going to start by taking this strap, and we're going to put it behind ourselves, and we're going to put it on like on the shoulder blades, but yeah, kind of like in the middle of the shoulder blades, but more probably closer to the bottom of the shoulder blades. Sorry, I got such itchy nose. Okay. So we're going to begin first by focusing again on these other muscles, these lats especially, and relaxing the traps, okay? So all we're going to do, and this works with a band as well, if you had a rubbery band, it'll take a little bit, it would be more force, so you get more of an exercise of it, I would say. So we're pushing the ribs onto the back of the wall, and then we're just taking the strap in our hands and we're pulling the strap out. So as you're pulling the strap out, there's more of an external rotation again going on in the shoulder, okay? So think about that. So almost like you're bringing the elbows in towards your chest. You feel the strap on the back wall, and it's like you're pushing into the strap, and then you're just pulling out. But like I said, don't be like pushing or pulling really hard. And you really want to make sure that your traps stay nice and still. So now we're going to open the arms a little tiny wider so the elbows are still close to your side. And again, we're going to pull out, and you're really going to feel more around the shoulders, underneath the shoulders, okay, but without the traps, which may be even impossible for you right now, who knows. So again, now I'm going to go a little bit wider, and then elbows in and pulling out, reminding traps to be still, and pull, pull, pull. Okay, and then bring them in again, and even wider this time. Okay, and get all situated. Take some breaths. Make sure you're not holding breath anywhere. And I'm pulling out. And you guys can do as many of these as you want. I'm talking, so I probably would have normally done a few more. So pull out. And see if your traps are still, you might want to touch. Make sure that, invite them to relax. We'll do another one, wide again. It's like the widest that it is comfortable. Externally rotating the shoulders, and remind those muscles like underneath your arms. Those are the ones that are engaging, and you're pulling out. And when you get so far where you feel kind of stuck, stay there and hold. But again, don't be stretching out the arms as hard as that, as much as you can. Just 70%, 60%, you're just holding here, breathing. And relax. And now a little closer, same thing. Take a breath in. Exhale. And get out so far. Tell the traps to relax. You're just holding for a breath. And release and come down. And then we will do it one more time, this time close. So shoulder width distance apart, I should say. Still this external rotation, and you're gonna pull out. And you get so far where you kind of feel stuck. You really feel those shoulder blades probably turned on and maybe even a little burning, but reminding the traps, and even if you want to move your head a little bit, side to side, reminding them to stay silent. And then relax that. And we'll go back again by just raising shoulder blade left to right a couple times. It's nice to get this biofeedback from the wall. So just trying to lift one shoulder blade, the other, without the traps, right? And just sitting here now. Probably take your legs and cross them the other way. Sitting here, taking a few breaths. And now we just want you to take your arm, so your right arm, and you're going to just reach it diagonal across from you. And then open up and come down. So the same thing. You're just gonna reach the left arm diagonal and across from you so that your shoulder blade comes kind of off the wall. And then you can come back and down. So I'm just going diagonal, reaching about 70% effort. And then I'm just bringing the arm forward and coming down. And I'm going to do one more on the other side. So I'm just reaching my arm forward and then open and then down. Okay, so we're coming back down, or we're coming down onto the ground, but this time we're going to be laying down on our backs. So come down, lay on your backs. If you have, you're going to need the strap. You're going to need a, just your block. For coming down onto your back. So if you want something under your head, get that. And when you're laying down, you can have your knees bent and just make sure that your whole back body is touching the floor except for your natural lumbar arch. So as you're laying there, you can find your ASISs again, or those hip bones. And you just play around with that little tilt and tuck and tilt and tuck. So bringing the tailbone down and then tilting back up and then finding that nice middle ground. And for some of us, it will mean that the pubic bone and the hip bone are on the same plane. That's one way of finding it. But you should have like a natural arch under your low back. And I'm going to bring my shoulders, kind of my shoulder blades together and flat onto the floor. And I want to maintain that. And all we're going to do is do what we just did with the arm up to the ceiling. So the right arm is up to the ceiling. Relax the traps. And again, we're just going to reach the arm up and over a couple times. So we're just reaching diagonal and reaching up and thinking about the shoulder blade and around the shoulder doing the work and not the traps getting engaged. So I'm just doing that, kind of pulsing that. Breath in, reach, exhale out. And relax that arm and go to the other side. So I'm just reaching my arm up, coming diagonal and reaching the shoulder blade. So I'm reaching with the shoulder blade. Diagonal, I'm reaching up to like the corner of the room. I'm staying with nice, easy breaths. It's a nice, gentle class tonight. And the last one. So take your block now, and I'm going to get you to put it between your forearms, or if you have a book, or even sometimes just a pillow, anything that you can kind of grab. And if you don't have anything, Just pretend it's there so that you have it between your forearms and your hands, the palms of your hands are facing down. So I have this 90 degree in my arms. My palms are facing down towards the floor. I have the block between my forearms. And again, I'm reminding my traps to relax. I'm going to bring my arms behind me. And come back. So again, don't be straining anywhere. So if you feel the traps getting engaged, just you've gone too far, okay? So take a breath in and then exhale and bring the block behind you. Your arms are not straightening out, okay? We're still staying in that 90-degree angle, but reminding it's still feeling like you have that like external rotation going on in your arms, okay? We're just gonna do one more. And come down. And put that aside. Let your arms go out by their sides, palms facing up towards the ceiling. And just come back into your breath. And we're just going to come into a few bridge poses. So little bridge. We did these, I think, on Monday as well. So I want you to still have that little arch in your back. And then I want you to find that space where the hips and the ribs, that under the ribs and then the hip bones. And try to keep that connected. And as we go up into a little bridge, we kind of want to remember to keep that small arch in our back, okay? It's going to take a little bit of concentration. So before we go up, bring your feet, make sure they're directly across from one another and wherever it feels comfortable to kind of push. You don't have to bring your whole bottom or pelvis off the floor, okay? So push down and then pull the legs in. But remember, we're trying to kind of do 70%. We're trying not to clench the upper part of our necks or shoulders, okay? So I'm just going to push down the feet, pull the feet in towards my bum. I feel engagement happening in the backs of my legs as I raise up. And I'm trying to keep these 2 points connected so that I'm not arching the back or that the pelvis is not dropping while my ribs are up. So it's just a way to stay connected there. And so I'm still just coming up to as high as what's comfortable for me today. I'm going to take a breath. And then I'm going to lower down again. And I'm just lowering those 2 points down together. Relax. Take a breath. And then exhale, push down on your feet. And like you're pulling your heels towards your bum, but without the legs moving. So you feel the contraction. You got the contraction. Now lift. You don't have to go very far. You don't have to come all the way up. I'm not coming all the way up right now. I'm just like coming up nice and slow, feeling that contraction. And once you're up, you can stay here, take a couple of breaths, relax around the shoulders. And if you could take and come up on the toe of one foot while you're here and then come down, you can try that. And then try it on the other side. Just notice what happens. If you start to compensate somewhere else, say your weight really shifts and you know that, okay, I'm not doing that, I'm compensating somewhere else in my body just to do it, then don't do it. You can come down and then come up again. So I just lifted one, I'm just doing 2 lifts on each side. And now I'm just gonna come down nice and slow. And I'm just going to do one more. So push down in the feet, pull the feet towards your bum, lift. Lift, feeling the quads, feeling the back side of the body. Really want the glutes to be turned on here. And exhale and come down. Okay, So we are gonna come over onto our sides. No, actually, let's do a little bit, because we do have a little bit more time. Let's just stay where we are here. Sorry. And because I think that we haven't done these for a while, let's just do a few transverse abdominis exercises, okay? So we'll do the 3 inches, foot 3 inches off the mat. So make sure that your back of your back is flat down, the back of your ribs flat down, shoulder blades nice and flat to your back, and feet wherever they're comfortable underneath you, and small arch in the lower back. And we're going to just lift, and without clenching, remember, in the jaw. I'm going to lift my right foot 3 inches off the floor, and I'm going to see what happened when I did that. Am I clenching anywhere? Are you clenching anywhere that is unnecessary for you to just get the leg up? Now try to relax those parts. And then you're going to bring the other leg up to meet it without trying to move too much. And you may let yourself move. You're not like fighting the movement if you're swaying, but just come down, be gentle. If you're swaying a lot, it may mean that your transverse abdominis may not have time to contract because other muscles are. And then come up onto the other, okay? Just so that you could be steady. So I'm gonna lift the left foot now 3 inches. I'm gonna check in with my body. I want my transverse abdominis to do the work, and I can feel it engaged. And now I'm gonna lift the other foot. And I'm going to put the left foot down and then the right foot down. And another thing that you may notice, you can go down, start. So go on the other, start on the other side now. So lift the right and then the left. And what you may also find, and you're going to, as soon as you start to wobble, or you're to do this, your back may flatten, or not flatten actually, it might just arch up, and we don't want that to happen. So if that's happening, that's another indication. Let's just come up onto the toes. And then one down and the other one down. Always come back to your breath, relax around the shoulders. There's a lot of places we go to do a movement and we'll just even tense our jaw. We don't need to tense our jaw to get our really great exercise for core stability. So working your inner core muscles, your stabilizers, and come down. So doing that every day would be great. So I'm still going onto the other side. And then if you get like really comfortable, and not only do you need to, another thing that's comfortable here, or important here, sorry, is that when you get up, if you have to hold your breath and you can't take nice, long, at least 5 long breaths here, holding up, you don't want to move any further. The same with if you're up on your toes and you want to be able to stay here and have nice, even breaths here without holding, and then you move up. So if you're here and you find this really easy with the 2 legs up, then you may even try extending one leg and bringing it in and extending the other. But you do want to make sure that you're not losing the contraction. So anyways, you're probably had enough of those. You can just bring the feet out to each side of your mat and let the knees collapse in and take a few breaths there. So now we're going to come on over to our side. So just come over to your side, and if you have a pillow there already, that's great, because you probably will want something underneath your head. So I'm just putting my head on the side, kind of trying to get my shoulder under me so it's not like really curled in. And I'm just going to reach that bottom arm out. And then I'm going to have one knee on top of the other knee, and they're in about a 90-degree angle, my legs. And so what I'm going to do, just like we did earlier, we're going to just I'm stretching that arm out to pass my other hand. So my two hands start one on top of the other, and I'm stretching that top arm, so my getting the work in around my shoulder blade. Even if you want that small external rotation going on a little bit in your shoulder, and then I'm just bringing the arm up. And when I bring the arm back, again, I don't want the traps doing all the work. It's going to bring me into a little twist, a thoracic twist. And we're not trying to go as far as we can. And come back. And reach again. You may even want to come over a little bit, like a little twist the other way. Big breath in, a lift up. A little twist, a thoracic twist. So keeping the pelvis where it is. And come back. And stretch, or reach, and then come up. And reach back. And again, one more time. Reach out and up and back, a little twist. And now I'm just going to bring the arm over my head. And come back. So I'm just going to bend my arm here, and I'm going to do a little bit of the same thing with the hips. So you got your one knee over the other, and I'm just going to move the hip forward and back. So the knee just gently goes over the other knee. So I'm just moving the hip forward and back, forward and back. So just getting small movements in the hip there. You may feel, this might feel comfortable in the low back as well. And we are going to move over onto the other side. So just moving on to the other side now and doing the same thing. So getting comfy. I'm going to put one arm, try to stack my shoulders, stack my knees, putting my cheek down, and one hand on top of the other to begin. And I'm going to reach the arm out and bring it up and open it wide. Come back. Reach. Open and come back. If you want, you can do these circles. Bring your arm in position again. Reach up. A little twist in the thoracic spine here. And do two more. Remember those traps. They may want to help you. And that was my last one. And now I'm just going to move the hip forward and back. So this hip bone is just moving. I don't want the knee to, the movement to come from the knee. I want the movement to come from the pelvis shifting. So this hip bone is coming forward and I'm moving it back and forward and back, forward and back. And so we could to continue this movement. So we'll start here again. So reaching the arm forward, and you can either go behind your head or go up just like we did. And as you do that, you're going to open up your legs. So one leg opens up and it brings the other leg with it. So you may end up coming over, and then you come over to the other side and bring this arm. I don't have a lot of room, but I think you get what I'm saying. So I'm reaching, and you can go behind your head or you can come up. I think I'm gonna go behind the head, and then as I'm twisting, I'm twisting in the thoracic spine, but then I'm opening up this leg and bringing the other one, and then you can come around to like so. Anyways, I don't have a lot of room, but it feels really nice as well to do that. If not, you can come and lay on your back, have something underneath your head. And I'm just going to bring my knees up, but I'm not bringing the knees all the way to my chest. I'm just bringing them as far as what I need to in order for my arms to reach out and hold onto my knees. And I'm just going to rock back and forth then on the sacrum. I'm still going to remind my jaw and my traps to relax, my neck to relax. So that was really fast. There's 5 minutes left. So any kind of movement that you want here before you get into Shavasana, it's up to you. So this is just one movement. I like giving my sacrum, that nice flat part of your spine at the bottom, a nice massage here. You can extend the leg if you want and bring it up. Just giving you some options. And just bending one knee and then the other leg is coming up, but I'm only bringing it as far as that I can without the back flat into the floor. And maybe we'll cross the right ankle over the left thigh. Let's get a bit of a piriformis stretch. You can have this bottom leg at a 90-degree angle if you want. What tends to happen though is we tend to fall over to the right of the top leg, the knee. So bring yourself back. Bring that bottom leg up towards you, but only as far as you can without the back flatten. When the back flattens, then you're not getting, you're just compensating, because it's not about how far you can get the leg up right towards you. It's just about getting the right stretch here. And I'm going to move to the other side, bring the ankle up. I'm going to open up that leg, give it an external rotation here. And it might be enough for you to stay here. It might be enough stretch. It might be enough to come up on the toe. Or you can come all the way and move the knee towards you. We don't want to arch the ribs up to the sky. We want to keep that nice arch in your lower back. Bring the knee towards you. And like I said, you may tend to roll to one side. Try to keep yourself nice and even, your hips nice and even. The bottom leg can be at a 90-degree angle or you can relax it. Take your last breath here. And exhale. And get all cozy now for Shavasana. There's still time for a lovely walk if you want to get that in this evening because it's beautiful here. So hopefully that made a bit of difference for you this evening. Now it's just time to give all of those muscles and give that attention. Or that attention that you were giving your body to just kind of relax now. Or that focus, I think I'm trying to say. We're focusing on all the parts of our bodies, parts to not engage and parts to engage. So just giving that a rest. Just letting the whole body just relax into the floor. We're only going to be here for a few minutes. Or of course you can be here for as long as you need. So closing our eyes. coming in to our bodies or bringing awareness inside. Still appreciating the sounds around you. Starting to feel connected, whatever that means for you. Letting the breath naturally flow in and out. Remind the breath that it can expand, be deeper. Visualizing the diaphragm moving up and down with each breath, massaging the organs with every breath in and out. Relaxing the face. Again, reminding the neck, the traps, the jaw to relax. Maybe relax a little more. Is there still room left to release in the shoulders, all around the shoulders, the shoulder blades? Our big latissimus muscles going down our sides. Let them release. Let the arms be heavy. Whole back body. Releasing any tightness, tension, especially around the pelvis, around the heart center, our chest, our throat. So seeing if we can relax in these places a little bit more. Allow the legs and the glutes to relax. Allow all around the lower back and the belly to release. Allow your legs to be heavy, moving all the way down to your ankles and your feet and your toes. And your whole body relax. Mind may be still, it may not. It's okay. You're just being here and taking this time to just notice your thoughts, to notice how you feel, to notice how your body feels, how you feel emotionally. Sometimes we just need to stop and ask ourselves and notice what comes up. And knowing that whatever it is, you will get through it. So just staying with your breath, enjoying this peace and quiet, and I will leave you here so you can stay as long as you wish. And hope you all have a beautiful and relaxing evening.